What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We're starting a new week here, August 30th, 2022. Astrobate, welcome. I'm taking Blitz Challenges. 5+3 casual is the time control of choice. 5+3 casual, give us some time to discuss the positions while we play. Maybe we can learn something. Myself as well. Not just you people. I learn a lot by streaming, and I try to be open-minded about the game. Astrobate with the quotes. We have the Bullet Challenger. Not sure if I'm ready for that. Not awake. This guy plays primarily very fast. I ought to do a warm-up game first. Not ready to move fast. Yesterday was Simul Sunday, so that gives me plenty of time to think. Unlike Blitz, I look sleepy. Need to comb my hair again. Yeah, mornings are not my favorite time of the day. Alright. We're gonna go with the Caro Kann. I like to play more sharp positions later when I wake up. I mean, I've been awake for a while, but I don't look like it. Bishop C4. Astrobate, did you? No, that's a summon on sound specialty. So the old hillbilly, the so-called hillbilly attack. Let's try something. Oh, right, okay. White has to know what they're doing here a little bit. See, that's the right move, theoretically. A lot of people exchange on d5. I've taken this a little more seriously than I used to because of one of our subscribers, someone on Sound. He's been playing this religiously last couple of years since he watched the stream. He's changed my opinion of it. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I used to think it was totally unsound, but I'm not so convinced. Maybe it's not so stupid. You saw a video on this trap. Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it a trap necessarily. It's kind of like a dubious opening system. Semi-dubious. I mean, there may be traps within it, per se, but it's playable. Carlson, the great Simon Williams. Others have played this stuff with white. The idea is similar to I mean, I think in a way it's a little similar to England Gambit or a Budapest. Of course, I haven't played C4, C5 like in the Budapest. I don't really like trying to hang on to that pawn at all cost. You know, we try to find a reasonable way to maybe give back the pawn for slight advantage or something, if possible. Of course, some people just won't stop to promote bad openings on their YouTube channels. I don't do that. You know, I try to promote like sound openings. Teach people to play correctly, not garbage. But, you know, I had almost the identical game with someone on Sound once. If not the identical game. Another bad Eric Rosen opening, basically. This A5 pawn push is quite useful. See, now the story is different because you won't have an open file when I grab that bishop. If and when I grab the bishop, you no longer have that pressure with the rook there. that See, like, black's slightly better. That's, like, typical result for this opening. Well, I mean, I would say I'm slightly better, right? I mean, I have the bishop pair long term. If anyone's better, it's black. Maybe I should exchange queens there. Yeah, I mean, he's addicted to playing fast. But no dynamic advantage. Who was it that another player brought up this term dynamic? Dynamic compensation. No, I mean, I would think like, okay, terminology is overrated, but it is a dynamic advantage. I mean, the bishop pair is a dynamic advantage. Plus I have, well, alright, I won't say I have a space advantage. Now maybe I do because of e5, but no, I mean, I think the bishop pair is what I would classify as, what is a dynamic advantage? What does that mean exactly? Dynamic imbalance is the kind of term we hear sometimes. It's like playing this opponent, I have the feeling my opponent's goal is to have as much time at the end of the game as possible. Like, literally. Is that the goal? That's, you know, if I was an alien and I came down to Earth and I saw Ripun play chess, my impression would be that the object of the game was to have more time than the other guy at the end of the game. But maybe it's just like a sort of after effect. It just seems like that's his main goal because he's so fast. But that's the impression you get, you know. Like, there's some extra bonus points you're going to get at the end of the game when you have more time left. You're going to get awarded, like, an achievement get for having more time. It's really crazy. I get bored with this. And at some point I just don't want to do it anymore. You know, I just want to resign. Because I don't understand the point. We're just like moving fast for the sake of moving fast. What is that about? Uber driver, wow. Long time no see. Be Afraid is here. Walking Death. That's another one I haven't seen in a long time. Lately at the Airport. Maybe not for long. You better rely on domestic customers. The European Union is gonna like ban reban Americans. Due to lack of vaccinations. But you'll have plenty of domestic customers at the airport. Yeah, I met a friend, he was here. I think today they're voting at the European Parliament to disallow American tourists to the United States, from the United States to Europe again. It was ridiculous. I was venting about this. The audacity of the U.S. administration to like not allow European visitors when the COVID is like worse in the United States. It's outrageous. Well, that's it. I dropped a piece. Dropped my rook. He ate my rook. The dog ate my rook, sir. Another great game. Did I miss the first win? No. A few. I was up a rook. See, this makes me wonder why do I bother playing this game at all? He has knight c6, which I missed. Which he saw instantly. I lost 2 rooks. He's 1500 in classical. Played the whole game in 1 minute. And I lost. From +5. Masturbate. Masturbate's like, well done. That's well done, Masturbate? Seriously? Against everything I ever have. This game is against everything I have ever tried to teach here on my stream. I don't mind if I lose to a good player or someone who played well. But when I just lose to people who are just moving the pieces as fast as possible from a +10 position, that's not well done. I mean, you know, I understand if you want to see like people win, but it's sad. It's really sad that he misses the entire point of the game and wins anyway. I have give absolute credit to anybody who plays a good game and beats me, but this is anti-chess. What we just witnessed here. It's anti-chess. It's very strange. You know, it's very strange. Look at that like final tally of 2 inaccuracies the whole game for white. and 4 blunders. That's pretty unbelievable. You could play the whole game in 1 minute and have only 2 inaccuracies. And I'm like an IM and had 2 inaccuracies, 2 mistakes, and 4 blunders. How could that be? How could he be like -5? He made 4 blunders and 2 inaccuracies. No mistakes. Playing bullet the whole game for 53 moves. And you make no mistakes. 2 inaccuracies and 4 blunders. That's a really weird game. But to see knight c6 instantly, I didn't even see that. I swear I didn't see knight c6 was even possible. I thought it was a draw right into the last second. That I was winning the last pawn. And he instantly played it without even thinking. I mean, yeah, I guess you could see it very easily. We could also miss it very easily. Something about it is weird. It would take me at least like 1 second to see that move. He like pre-moved it. He had seen it in advance. What a horrible way to start the stream. It's disgusting. I mean, nothing personal, but why do you want to like play bullet chess against me on my stream? To troll me or something? I try to teach people to think and to use their time, and you're like flying in the face of that completely. It's not just that I'm pissed that I lost. It's like I lost while you're like screwing over my entire philosophy of the game, you know, and going against everything that I teach. So you can like make a mockery of my philosophy and win from a -5 position at the same time. I have no idea. It's a long story. Bishop e6. So we're playing a classical Rilipez here. I mean, I would just resign in a simul against somebody who played like him. If you're not going to take the game seriously and play for time, I'm not interested in playing against you. You know? There's something very strange about it that doesn't make sense. Miro BTW, what's up? I don't trust anyone. Right. Okay. Very safe way White's conducting this game, by the way. I was annoyed with Astrobay for saying, like, you know, well done. You know, you lucky bastard or something like that would be more appropriate, but really well done, specifically? It's the opposite of well done. It's like you should be ashamed of yourself. Once I said that to Eric, who was it, Andrew Carklands, after I like drew a 2-pawn up endgame, and he was like irate. I probably would have like resigned his position that he drew against me. And he was irate that I had the audacity to tell him like he should be ashamed of himself. It was a joke, you know. But I mean, seriously, especially from an old guy. You'd think he could take the joke. Bishop g3. Right. I'm just saying, like, older players understand, like, you know, they should understand the etiquette of like resigning in a lost position. A young player, I understand, you know, whatever. They have no experience. No one taught them about etiquette or sportsmanship. But for an older player not to get the joke, I thought that was kind of weird. You don't want to cause chaos, but most of his move was top engine move, though. Yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise me. Throw in some blunders. I believe in aliens, too, man. But most people might not. I have no idea. A lot of people just look at it on the face value. That if someone played, you know, a lot of blunders, they couldn't have been cheating. But those days are over, man. People are really. Dude, I played yesterday, and for example, yesterday I played an unrated. Seriously, an unrated Blitz game anonymously, and my opponent used the engine for every single move. Why would anybody like cheat in an unrated anonymous game using the engine for every move? Are you serious? Are you like training yourself in cheating, or what? What is that about? Like, at least have a reason to cheat, you know? In an unrated anonymous game, you're playing with every single move. Like I'm learning by watching myself cheat. No, honestly, Prem, nothing would surprise me at this point. People will go to all kinds of... Yeah, there's something weird about that player. The way he plays is a little bit strange. But, you know, I'm paranoid about everybody. You get a feeling. A lot of his moves are strong and then very weak. You know, there's too much like variance, like you're saying. You think the anonymous pool has a way higher percentage of players cheating? Well, yeah, they're allowed, right? Oh, it's not illegal to cheat in an anonymous game, or what? What's the philosophy? What's the point, though, really? Are they practicing to cheat on their rated account? I was like, dude, are you serious? I just wanted to play like one game before I went to sleep, and I figured, okay, I'll play some beginner and crush them. And I played this really dubious game. I played the Elephant Gambit with black, assuming my opponent is like a 1200. That's, say, the average level. And it took me about 15 moves to realize I was playing an engine. At first I was like, okay, my Elephant Gambit, it's pretty bad. It's probably not sound. And then at some point, he beat me in like 20 moves. It took me until move 15 to realize that I was facing like almost optimal play. If I had known he was cheating with the computer, obviously, I wouldn't have played the Elephant Gambit. Like, congratulations, you beat my Elephant Gambit because I thought you were 1200. You know? Wow. Really, I'm thinking, okay, I'll play a fun opening, give some beginner a chance, and then he busts the engine on me. But he doesn't know I'm like a title player or something. I'm just another anonymous player. It's not like he's... It's just crazy. But I guess there really are players who cheat, you know, and they probably practice their cheating skills by playing anonymous games. They're really bad at chess and want to win. I know there's the argument, oh, I learned from it or something. You know, that's got to be like the number one Family Feud answer. Top reason why online chess players cheat. I don't think it was Magnus. It was like every single move was, except for like one, was top Starfish, mobile phone level play. Like one was like second best move. I'm okay with losing too, you know. I'm not just angry because I lost the first game. If you beat me fair and square, that's fine. I lose every day. So we're very slightly better here, but I don't know. I mean, is it that much? This kind of threw me. Queen h5. There's like, it's not easy to get his queen off h5. If I go here, rook g1, how am I going to get his queen off of h5? Very tricky. That's why I decided to trade queens. But the problem is after trading queens, I'm not sure how big my advantage is here. It's there, but it's not nearly as big as it was. Why lose when you can win? Sounds logical to me. Now this might change the game. I mean, g3, he's falling apart. I guess. Did I get myself in trouble here? Or am I still doing well? Oh, I can just play g4. Same connected pass pawns as last time. It's not a good move. Yeah, it happened again. I dropped a rook again. No, this time it was a bishop. Well, it's good handicap. Now the game is like equal. Definitely more interesting now. Handicap chess. Oof. So I'm actually winning a piece now on e3. Yeah, I mean, I was never losing like last game where I dropped the rook. I don't know, man. My score against Druvgol is sort of ridiculous. He's too good to have not won a single game. I mean, objectively, he's much stronger than my last opponent. At least numerically. But he doesn't seem to be as strong. Based on his result. But I think he's a better player. Alright, Gotham. We're getting a challenge here. I mean, he's 2100 in Rapid. That is a very respectable rating. There's no way you shouldn't have beaten me by now. Druvgol makes a lot of blunders. Alright, Mr. Slowhand. Mr. Slowhand and I yesterday played a simul game where I blundered in the opening and he didn't take advantage of it the right way. I played bishop a4, bishop g4 question mark against you. and I like looked on in horror as I saw the board where I had played this crazy bishop g4 move. But amazingly, you didn't find the right refutation, fortunately for me. So we got Mr. Slow, play like Kasparov. I thought I was a dead man, but got lucky after losing my concentration. You had gone to creative. Yeah, I mean, I looked at the game afterwards, and what surprised me the most was that like only one person had ever played my move, bishop g4. White is only like +1 there, but still. I mean, I know that it's not a theoretical move, but it's kind of like you wonder why at least 1 or 2 people more didn't at least experiment with that. They all know better. I just wasn't focused on that move, and I quickly responded with my normal response. Because you played the other variation so many times. I was just like, not even looking where the bishop went. He had played the normal variation many, many times. I lost against bishop a4 about 5 years ago to one of my former teammates. What's his name? FIDE Master here. With each move, Reshevsky looked at the board as though it was the first time. Well, that's a Walter Brown type of approach, you know. Walter Brown used to like play the 5th move of the Najdorf and like sit there and think for 3 minutes. Mr. Slowhand is underrated. Well, dude, he was like 2100 FIDE. Of course he's underrated. He's been in 2000s FIDE. But some people don't take their online rating that seriously, I think. Like, I don't really. Look, I'm 2460. That's an average rating. My Blitz rating is like an average rating for like a candidate master or something on lichess. I don't really care. I mean, if I was like egocentric, I wouldn't, you know, play until I was 2601 or something. Mr. Slowhand doesn't care, you know, if he's 1800 in Blitz. He tries hard against me, but I think he doesn't try. He doesn't try, you know, probably a bit against the weaker players. Some people are really, you know, competitive about their ratings and stuff. I should be ashamed to be 2460 based on the average strength players here. They're like candidate masters who are 2900. I mean, but I think he plays up but well. You know, some people have a tendency to do that. There's also clearly differences in motivation. You're underrated over the board. You got your rating to 4 digits. Jeez. When I was a kid, Miro, and I first started playing in the 80s, I don't think there was anyone under 700, say 800. That was extremely rare. It's just funny. My first rating was 1275. But I mean, honestly, I had played a lot of casual chess with my best friends, a lot before I played in my first tournament. Once I played an unrated tournament, that didn't help much. It's bishop g4. Yeah, Miro is. We're not going to talk about his rating sandbagging. But Miro, you didn't win the section you played in, right? How many rounds did you play when you played over the board this summer? How many rounds was the tournament? Did you play all the rounds? Yesterday, Antoni resubscribed, and he played his first tournament last year in Italy. Also, I felt had a You got 4.5 out of 5. Okay. And you were really mad about the draw? Did you win like a trophy or something? GM Trank said the other day on a stream while watching European Championship, there was this one guy rated 2100, and he just said that this is not even a rating. I was like, what? And he told me that during his time. Right, exactly, Prem666. Well, there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration. One of the things I've been thinking about is like a lot of people give a lot of crap to nowadays to grandmasters who are like $23.99. They're like, oh, what kind of grandmaster is $23.99? But I mean, back in the day, there was no ratings under 2200, and if there's no ratings except for women who were allowed 2000 to 2200, but if there's no ratings below 2200, you know, even if you lose to the worst player in the world, they're still like 2200. So that's how like Smyslov and all these people were able to be like 2500 when they died, you know. And Smyslov was like, what, in his 80s, and he was like close to 2500. Yeah, I guess if you never play anyone your entire life who's like under 2200, the maximum you can lose is pretty limited. But now, okay, an old grandmaster can go to a tournament and lose to somebody who's like 1900 or 1800 or something like that, and then lose the max rating. Like Ivan Farago, who is a relatively strong grandmaster, you know, he's dropped under 2400, almost down to 2300. But I mean, seriously, in the old days, there were no ratings under 2200. You know, you couldn't lose to too many points. I mean, it's no wonder there was no 2300 grandmasters. Now it's a whole different world. I mean, people are going to lose their rating points when they get older. You know, I'm lucky if when I'm 70, I'm still over 2200. But I don't know. I think the lower rating systems are really, really inaccurate and they wildly skew everything. Wait, that's the problem. I also don't like the FIDE K-factor system. Seems bogus. Have like multiple K-factors to enable younger players to get their ratings up faster, so they can generate titles faster and put more money in the FIDE coffers. I feel like I'm just trapped. Like I'll be 2340 for the rest of my life. I can't really change my rating. I mean, it's almost impossible to gain or lose points with a 10K factor. I'll be 2340 like until I'm 65. I would have to like play like 15 tournaments or something to gain a lot of points or lose a lot of points. Whereas like some kid can gain or lose like hundreds of points in one tournament. No, I mean, Prem, still, I mean, if I play just a limited number of games, I really, you know, new players have what, a 40K factor? Then 20? Or how does it work? It's 40, 20, and 10? Pay people off. Oh man, there was this guy. I was talking about that last week. We saw a player who was 25-25 provisionally based on one tournament. I mean, seriously. The new people have a higher K factor of 40. So if you're a new player, your rating can change at 4 times the speed of mine. Kids just are wildly fluctuating. They'll gain 100 points in one tournament and then like lose it back in the next one. I don't think that it's mathematically sound, but I'm not a mathematician, so my opinion doesn't really matter, I guess. It just intuitively doesn't seem right to me. I think it's motivated by money. But FIDE wanted to make the rating system more inclusive, which I guess is fair, you know. But I still don't see the reason why we have to have 3 different K factors. It's arbitrary. The USCF is a little different. US Chess Federation doesn't have that. Maybe 2 K factors. I mean, obviously, if it's a totally provisional player to have like a higher K factor, I guess that's reasonable. You know, but people who have played like hundreds of games, because the rating hasn't gone over some arbitrary number. They're, you know, the rating, this difference is 20 and 40 K factor. If I could get back to a 20 K factor, man, I could get to like 2,500 pretty quickly. If I had a good run of events or something. Now it's like impossible. Premlik's Sackney Exchange just reminds me of his game yesterday. We should be winning here. Sees everything. I didn't really get to look at our game. This may be a position where it has, oops, I messed up. Wow, it's just devastating. Today is my day of blunders. I keep like blundering good positions. This is out of control now. What? Well, alright. I mean, I think even final position may be okay for black. No. But you were clearly better. After rook c2 check, I thought. Computer doesn't agree. Amazingly, wow. I thought after check, I'm worse. These games are too fast. I keep blundering every single game. Every time. Dropped a rook, a bishop, and now my endgame advantage. All those 7 hours. I have to take a look at our game prem from last night. Guys, please subscribe and support the stream. Play like Kasparov, Walrus Man. I do take the subscribers first. No, I mean, you didn't waste your 7 hours of opening prep. That opening prep will stay with you. Don't think of it as one game. Opening prep. I mean, it's opening prep for the rest of your life. Till you forget it. Like me in like one day. A lot of times, like, you prepare for games, and that analysis, you know, you'll use a year from now. In another game. You should think of it that way. Rook b1 is not such a great move, probably. The problem is there's no good waiting moves. We'll see what he does. It's not the greatest waiting move. I wouldn't play that normally. I'm just so bored of doing the same stuff all the time. We've played like a million games, and I try to play something different against the King's Indian, but I'm running out of things to play. Yesterday I had the Mango Man talked about the Dark Squared Bishop last game. I had Arsenal fan, one of our regular subscribers, dead to rights, and another King's Indian where his bishop was literally a pawn. He had pawns on d6, e5, h6, and his bishop on g7 was blocked in every which possible direction, and I still didn't win. That's the worst nightmare when you're playing the King's Indian. I hate this bishop. But it is a good defender. I mean, I've got the same thing now because I'm playing like a Baffinix setup. a6, okay. This is weird though. Here, followed by a6. I had a game with queen d7. In the New England Open well, it's been 7 years ago. 8 years ago. That's crazy. I won the New England Open 8 years ago. It seems like it was like 5 years ago. Mika Brattain. He played like the same position with queen d7. No a6 and b5. He's like a FIDE master. This bishop e6 is an unusual idea. Sometimes black tries to play d5, but you get in trouble on the long diagonal. I actually talked about that with Dvoretsky, and yeah, we'll just unleash this long diagonal here. He's begging for f4, f5. Well, I mean, normally they do queen d7, and they try to like attack h3 and hold up the f5 square. It's not really a normal setup for black. I had a game with a Turkish guy 20 years ago. Tried to do the same thing with white. He also got in trouble. This is a King's Indian attack reversed. What does cheers do? I think just the hello command. It's not a command, actually, right? Acerbate, you're just saying hi. Walrusman, Pochapov, Mango Meister, and Gautam, all new players. Thanks guys for joining us. I do try to take the subscriber challenges first. Give back to the subscribers. Cheer 1 million NC. I Take Back is here. You know who else has been missing JCS for a long time? I hope he's okay. Yeah, he's trying for f4. He's begging for f4. Right, classic. Take Back just subscribed 38 months. Save a Dog, another player we haven't seen in a long time. King h8 is a strange move in this formation. Play like Kasparov. He's literally trying to play like Kasparov. Knight g8 in the King's Indian attack. That's creative. Glad I played Rook b1 at some point. I mean, it's basically like a closed Sicilian, which I hate. But what can you do? The acerbate. Allowing f5. So, Uber driver, you mentioned Yabades, but he's been absent this last week. He loves to play f5. I'm not sure I really want to do that. But I guess it's good. And this is protected, and my dark squares are a little bit weak. Very unnatural. By the way, I finally figured out the way to explain to people new chess servers, how chess servers detect cheating. Just reply to the question was, how do game servers detect aimbot? I don't know, they're scanning our private messages, I think, for surveillance purposes. Bishop d7. They just read our private messages and try to guess who's cheating. I don't know, man. This is our most popular conversation. I've seen the King's Indian, the dark square bishop going to d8, of course. But d8 is a classic miracle, you know, get the bishop out type of theme. I'm a King's Indian player with black oftentimes. Not so much lately, but I just got my Gawain Jones lifetime repertoires. I normally don't buy videos or books because I have too many already, but I have this friend who's a bookseller, and he was encouraging me to get it. I haven't been playing the King's Indian much for the last 10 years. It takes a lot of work to play this opening, and you have to study and stay up to date. I'm lazy and I play the Nimzo, which is a little less difficult, I think. Why do people think so little of the London? It's a terrifying opening. Right. I banned people from playing it in my simuls. It's literally the most boring opening in history. I don't know if I think little of it. I just like think it's overrated. It's like people wearing Yankees hats don't even know what baseball is. They're playing the London system, but they don't even know how to play chess in a lot of cases. It's overrated. It's oversimplified. I think it's extremely boring. You know, it is what it is. It's meant to be a beginner setup. But Magnus made it popular, and Kamsky. When I was young, I mean, club players play the London all the time. It's a standard club players opening. But I never thought it would be popular. It is boring. It's hard to make something boring seem exciting, but somehow, some way. I think a lot has to do with Yubava, like playing knight c3 and combining the London into this pseudo system with the, you know, the Dunst opening or whatever, or the Veresov. Really, the Veresov and the London are completely different openings. It just like happens that sometimes the bishop goes to f4 in the Veresov. The Veresov is an aggressive opening. I mean, you're playing the Chigorin reversed. The London is just like boring. safe system. But, you know, you can combine them and play something more interesting. It's really overrated now, though. Gonna lose a queen. I blundered 3 times today. I blunder every game. Queen g5, knight g4 check. That's great. And always when I apparently have more time. Don't get me started about the London. I hate the London. But I like being creative, and that's just like, if I had to play the London every game, I would just quit. You know, chess is done, as far as I'm concerned. Chess is over. At that point, I know some people. The Californian IM, Cyrus Lakdawala, for example. The guys like playing the London every single game. How can you be an IM and play the London every single game? Every single game. That's all you play. Like, how boring would that be? It's unbelievable. You might as well just start taking up like tic-tac-toe. You know, I would hate chess. You would lose any concept of creativity. So he's hanging on here, down a pawn. I'm not up a pawn. Alright. We're better, just better developed. Not to pick on Cyrus, but for example, I remember playing him in Blitz and being like, dude, seriously? That's what you play every single game? I couldn't do that. You think it's less good against d4, d5? That's weird. I've never heard anyone say that before. I was promoting the opposite. It seems better against d4, d5. But it's your, you know, it's your right to have your own opinion, Uber driver. I mean, d5 weakens the diagonal h2, b8. It seems like putting the bishop on that diagonal makes more sense. Whereas if the pawns are still not moved forward, man, I had a weird hallucination. I had this hallucination I could play rook f6 check, king f6, knight f6 check, king h6. Actually, did that work? I guess maybe it's still not that bad. Let's see. He has to go here. I don't even know what I'm thinking, though. Like, I have no way to get my knight to f5. If I put my knight on g3, it would have obstructed my rook, too. Anyway. So anyway, Ubjar, I feel like that's a weird perception about that. Hey, it's Miros, a subscriber. What happened with Nefedov yesterday? The London has the problem that you get the same structures over and over again. The problem or the advantage? You've been hanging out with Eric Rosen again, Miro. d4, knight f6, bishop f4, g5. Or h5 or some garbage. I mean, Rubinstein played bishop f4 against d5, whereas he wouldn't play it as much against knight f6. So, what happened with you, Nefedov, yesterday? I thought you were in the simul, and then you weren't. You were kicked out at the very last moment. But that's strange, because I had 25 players. You must have been kicked out right before, not really last minute, but like, because I just entered the simul thinking you were in there and I had 25 players, then I was surprised when you weren't there. You must have been kicked out right when I was at like 24 players. You were 25, then you got kicked out. Then I added someone else behind you, not realizing you were kicked out. Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. Good to see you back. Also, someone else. Okay. Hey, it's Mira playing Open Sicilian. Well, it's like the London system was okay for someone like Kamsky, who, you know, he's an excellent technical player. Doesn't really specialize in opening theory, and he'll just like bore you to death till he can grind you down in a 7-hour endgame or something. God is more multi-dimensional than that, but he's kind of that style. He always played that Tory attack London system stuff since he was a kid. We're around the same generation. I remember when Gotti used to play the Tory attack when he first immigrated. He had very little opening repertoire. But I mean, openings are fun. You're on holiday for 5 weeks. Nefedov, you didn't go to Ukraine, did you? For some reason, I remember, like, actually, you know who's missing? Our other Yevgeny, who lives in Canada, but he went back to Ukraine. He said he was going to Ukraine to play in a tournament, and I haven't heard from him since. Consider the position d4, d5, bishop f4, c5. Uber driver, that's funny that you mentioned that. It really is, because I just looked at that exact position this week. f6 is yeah, I mean, f6 is extremely strong. That's exactly. That's a very strong line. You just like put in there. E3, knight c6, c3. I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you're contradicting my philosophy. The bishop f4 makes more sense. But in that line, you're taking advantage of the knight not being on f6. It's true. That's an interesting perception. I mean, I like playing against the bishop with d6 a lot. But objectively, yeah. The London system seems like a waste of the white pieces. For Magnus, that's fine. I wonder if we'll see some exciting London System World Championship games. When was the last time the World Championship featured the London System? What do you think about Magnus using the London System against the Pomniachi? Holiday from chess. I had a week off as well. I was in Romania in the mountains, No chess for a week, too. Very nice. Very nice. Two, 3 weeks ago. It's been 3 weeks now. This is, it's still possible to transpose to mainline Skaveningen here. Actually, Nefedov. This is like a Nefedov tribute game. Nefedov likes these setups. Hey, it's Miro. You couldn't have done it better. He couldn't have done it better himself. He's a big fan of the white side of the bishop e2 Sicilian. As you know, in the Queen's Gambit with white, you can play e3, knight e2, f3, exactly. Yeah, it's more flexible. But let's see. What variation are you talking about there? So for example, Uber Driver, d4, d5, bishop f4, c5. See, we're seeing a lot more of those guys who do like d takes c5. I feel like it's the Sozin with his bishop on e2. Hey, it's Miro normally plays the Rossalimo, so he's going out of his comfort zone here. Playing an open Sicilian with white. The London system bishop is on d4 in this case. So you got to deal with those guys. d4, d5, bishop f4. I don't really play d5, so I've never honestly like put a lot of thought into it. Interesting. Queen e2. You know, I always play knight f6 95% of the time against d4. So what this is about, knight e4, and he's just sort of sitting there, and it's difficult to do anything. It's super annoying. Trading off his bad bishop. It's a bad bishop? Is that a bad bishop? Seems like not. Not really a bad bishop. The active bad bishop. It's a tragedy. Man, this is a total disappointment. I thought I was better, but apparently I'm not better at all. You think Magnus should play, this is Berdinsky 13, go to endgames and grind them, Berlin. Yeah, I mean, Nepomniachtchi is good, but technical positions, Magnus should be a favorite against pretty much anybody in like boring technical positions. The interesting thing is that, you know, as opposed to Caruana, Nepomniachtchi is not weaker in rapid, and that changes the match, like, in a major way. Because against Caruana, Magnus can sit there and be like, draw, 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 draw. I'm a huge favorite in rapid. Now it's not like that anymore. You know, he's not necessarily weaker. Nepomniachtchi is not necessarily weaker in faster time controls like Caruana. So Magnus can't rely on that, that whole like simple match strategy. Yeah, true. Like Caruana's preparation is in the openings top. He works very hard. on his opening preparation. I don't know. I've never played against Palmiachi. I don't know him. I don't know his game as well as someone like Caruana. I've seen a bunch of his games, but I mean, I don't really just know him very well. So I can't really speak with too much like knowledge of Palmiachi. I'm playing viewers now. Yeah, we've got 7 challenges. But I try to take the subscribers for my Twitch channel first. Give them a reason to subscribe. So be patient if you challenge me. I will take subscriber challenges first. There aren't that many though. Nefedov is a subscriber. For some reason I'm like blundering a lot today. Well, I've been in like brain fog mode. Yesterday Simon was pretty brain foggy too. Feels like there should be some sort of tactic here, but there's nothing. But we're just winning, you know? 3 pawns up and an ending. Is this a bad decision though? Rook takes a3. Rook takes d8, rook takes d8? No. He negotiated a lot here, but I thought you were doing okay for like b4. So Nefedov, long time no see. Don't take a couple challenges from the new people. Sorry I'm so brain dead. I still haven't really come back from my vacation. I was away for a week. Came back, played some poker. Nah, this line sucks. d4, black equalizes. Actually, no. This is normal. This is a Panov. Nefedov, do you know the black side of the Panov? Nefedov doesn't play the Caro-Kann. This like everybody plays the black side of the Panov. They're like, oh yeah, I can play the black side of the Panov. I've never played the Caro-Kann in my life. What am I doing here? Oh, okay. Korchnoi-Fischer is a different line. Right, I've talked about that. You know, the exchange sack game where Fischer had to fight like a dog to save it. I did a video on that years ago for a chess lecture. That was a good game. How many times did Korchnoi play Fischer? I don't know. But not that many, right? It's interesting. Interesting trivia question. They played 9 times? I play the Caro-Kann sometimes. Sometimes I play like him here, transposing to this from various flank opening move orders. I played this position for both colors a lot, actually, in the last, like, 10 years. I've probably had, like, 6 or 7 games. A couple recent in the last couple of years. I like to play it for both sides. It's dynamic and interesting. There's a lot going on. But I think that e6 is a safer move here. Speaking of Caruana, I think he was one of the first players to play this against Aronian or someone. E6 looks weird because you've got a lot of weaknesses on the dark squares. The only positive contribution to chess from Fischer in the last 20 years. Asked what? Sorry. Back to d5. This is the older variation. We had this recently. I've probably played more games with black than white, although now it's evening out. It's definitely easier to play with white. Why don't they include the quote? That quote doesn't really tell me much, Acerbate. We need some context. I've got 6 challenges. Walrus Man, Pochapov, now Koze, Harsha, Brodinsky, and Puris. Okay, so, just for your edification, I like f6. Rubinsteinian, sort of like control of e5, g5, don't create any weaknesses. Nefedov doesn't know, the variation. I also probably played bishop g7 the first time I played black. And I think that was the game I played most recently. Someone played like this. But I think f6 is actually better. Of course, I can play like queen a3. But I think queen a3, queen e7 has been played. Maybe queen a3 is wrong too. If I play bishop g5 though, I just encourage him to make f6. Which may not be a bad move. Whatever. I mean, he'd rather have his bishop on like e7 or d6 than on g7. Here it's only blocked by the pawn. Queen c4, interesting move. The problem is he'll play queen d5. I can't trade on d5. Well, actually you can sometimes. And still have an advantage. But it would be better maybe to play like rook c1 or something. Queen d5, rook f c1. I had this game with Pop Jula where I did like queen d5 with black and he just like left his queen on b3. Even in the end game where black can like trade queens off, black is worse. For example, like queen d5, queen b3. Black has this problem with the a pawn. His bishop on c8 is like a prisoner. I wanted to play bishop f4, but I had second thoughts. So I'm kind of wishing I hadn't played bishop g5. Queen c3. Well, I remember this square being a big deal. Rook c5. There was this Estonian IM that I had a lot of Blitz games with. This guy Olaf Sepp. And I was black. We used to play this all the time. And he would like get me with these sick maneuvers. Like coming here, 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 over here, coming with a knight to c4. So, you know, it's like a jolly joker or whatever. This knight is a wild card. He doesn't have a knight in a closed structure. I mean, that's hard to deal with. Prem, exactly, man. I mean, you trade the dark square bishop and black is done. That's White's #1 trump plan. Trade off the dark square bishop. I mean, trading queens doesn't change position that much. White is still better. I could avoid the exchange of queens. I'd like to avoid the exchange of queens. You know, and play for like a mating attack with maybe like bishop h6. I won a rapid game against some English grandmaster. Can't remember his name. In a similar position, trading the dark square bishops off, and then his king is like open. White is still better. This bishop is so bad. You know, and then we're talking about this. Now I can get on the 7th, but is it enough? That's a good question. No. Not really what I wanted to see. Nefedov is strong. Seyfru is reading with a party of 63. Fellow Hungarian. I'm not Hungarian, but I live here. I just live here. Thanks for the raid, Frugina. Rook c7. Yeah, nice move. Pseudo-Hungarian. Wow. I'm a migrant. But Nefedov is defending this really well. Seriously, great raid, thank you. Okay, structurally we're a little bit better. Big time advantage. I'm not happy though. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's enough. It's probably like black should hold this. I'm an honorary Hungarian resident. But Frugina is streaming also from Hungary. We've got a lot of Hungarian-based chess streamers now. Alright. I feel like I started the trend. I've been doing this for 5 years. Dragon B70. Also in the house. International Master Tonat Min. Who streams. Here I think people who create pass pawn wins. People who win on time wins, I guess. I don't know. No, he's still prisoner bishop. These bishops are not happy campers. He dropped a pawn. Happy camper bishops. Yeah, but anyway. So this system... I mean, I feel like black has to really have a good handle on what they're doing strategically. It's easier to play with white. But I think Nefedov was okay until he got into really bad time pressure. Again, thanks to the raiders. I think it's the first time we had a raid from Safe Brew. Walrus Man, Pochapov, Naukaze. I'm going to try to play some of these new people. I'm just taking 5+3 Blitz Challenges. And Dragon 70 is too strong. He's not allowed to challenge me. He always just flags me anyway. Dragon B70. Alright. E4, C5, Knight F3. Nafidov, thanks for the game. I didn't remember ever playing you in that variation. Did you do something different? Like you don't... Lashan. Lashan means slowly. Slowly in Hungarian. Or Lashu. Maybe one day I'll start... One year I'll start streaming in Hungarian. My Hungarian is so embarrassing. Alright, Bishop G5. So classical Sicilian against Walrus Man. Nobody plays nobody lets me play the mainline Sicilian. I had another open Sicilian earlier today. That's the second one in one day. That's like a world record. 2 open Sicilians in one day. Where everyone plays either the Smith-Morra Gambit, the closed Sicilian, the Grand Prix attack, or the C3. You never get anybody lets you play the Sicilian, normally. To not mean. What about you told me about playing chess over the board? Are you still in retirement? You thought for a moment I would play Sveshnikov? That's what Sebe Attila said to me. You play Sveshnikov, right? I'm like, dude, you've known me for 20 years. When did I ever play the Sveshnikov? He was like, you play the Sveshnikov, right? I'm like, are you serious? When did I ever play the Sveshnikov? I was like, I bought Adorjan's book on the Sveshnikov when I was 1200. And that was the most confusing book ever. I was like, nope. We're not going to play the Sveshnikov anymore. It was like chapter 1.35872. The Sveshnikov is good, though. It used to be a mainstay of Hungarian chess players because of Adorjan, but it seems like it's gone out of fashion. Leko got it from Adorjan, and there was a few other people. Banus used to play it. I don't know if he still does, but you don't see a lot of Sveshnikovs. He just dropped a bishop. So mainline here is like queen d2. No, sorry, bishop d2, or bishop takes f6 or f4. This variation is a little shaky for black. The Najdorf is the best Sicilian, right? Then probably the Sveshnikov. And that's about, and then the third best would be some sort of solid e6, Taimanov, or whatever. In my humble opinion. Okay, Khan Sicilian in the family of the solid e6 Sicilians. Sveshnikov is like a forced draw. So we're going to see Sveshnikov from Magnus Carlsen in the World Championship? What does the people think? Is Magnus going to go back to playing the Sveshnikov like he did against Caruana? Or was that just a phase? Yeah, what do you think? Pochapov 717. Okay, the Najdorf man is good, but it's hard. Ask B70 about the dragon, I guess. ECO B70. I don't know. I imagine playing the dragon is tough. Here we go again. So the Karaklaj system with bishop b5 or bishop g5. I don't know what that's called. Guys, tomorrow night we're going to host a tournament. If anybody wants to come by. My team, the Pond and Horses Club team, I try to create a Swiss, actually. Not an arena. Aren't you Metal Eagle? Metal Eagle is Metal Eagle. So knight takes c6, knight takes e3. I lost a trick game to somebody in this, in that ending. Knight takes e3, knight takes d8, knight takes d1, rook takes d1, king takes d8. What did they play? There was some weird trap I fell for. Bishop f4. I mean, bishop c4 had to be. There's this weird ambulance. You guys probably can't hear it because it's too far away. But they have these ambulances that sound just like Pac-Man. It's like the Pac-Man ghost stage where you like eat a ghost or whatever and you turn into a ghost. It sounds exactly the same as the Pac-Man ghost sound. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, or do we go for this? So it was like bishop c4 and then... No, that's not right. You're supposed to play knight takes d8, king d8, pawn takes e3. I'm talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Pac-Man. That's not the Pac-Man though. Pac-Man is gone. This is bad though. For white. He didn't do it right. There's a trap there. Knight takes d8, king takes d8. Knight takes d8, knight takes d1. Rook d1, king d8, bishop c4. And somehow I missed something crazy. Maybe we can check it out after the game and I can remember. Alright, current position is this, but this is a good caroclage for black. Black's just clearly better. Even queen f6 is a good move. Bishop e7 is risky. Draw? No. I love this endgame. No, this is huge for black. Sean Pinto, welcome. So we had a raid from Frugina. Good to see some peoples here. Rook b8. Am I going to trade queens? I don't really want to trade and fix white's pawns, but black's still clearly better there. Even in that ending. This bishop is just huge. The ML Salancy. Jolly Joker. Oof, but d5. Can you sacrifice a piece, maybe? Look at this dark square bishop. There's just holes everywhere. So I can play bishop c5, but that's not good. I really need to trade queens. Queen d4 and clear advantage. There is a little problem. White has knight b5 or bishop e5. Here it's not a problem. I expected rook takes, actually. I guess either way black's better. Just like bishop pair. This pawn, not an issue. Do I go to e7? Bishop e4. I know my bishop's bad now, but it doesn't have to be forever. Bishops are forever. It's still not so easy, though. He's managed to fix his pawn structure slightly, and I think White's still okay. Played well. 1593 offered a draw, but he's also 1900 in rapid. This A4. This is not so easy. My A6 pawn is a liability. I mean, I'm gonna have to like try to play for E5 eventually. That could take forever. In the meantime, I have to keep control of A6 and not give him access to the B5 square. A lot of ambulances here. It's like a flood of ambulances. Bishop F3. Now that's cool because he takes pressure off of A6. That's a bad idea. You know, the only thing he's got is that tying me down to A6. Now he's back again. Fine, be that way. I can play Rook B6. It's a little awkward. Knight A2. Still. Alright. He's actually really fast. He has 2 minutes and 46 seconds left. A5 blunder. You intend to watch Korchnoi study this week? You're gonna like summon a medium and have him do like an analysis session? Watch Korchnoi study. Wow. This is pretty crazy. This pawn is a serious problem. I got no way to keep it. Probably I have better off just losing it. He's 1500. Long-term pawn sack. Nice plan. Wow. It looks like White's alright. But I think he's no 1500. I don't know. Played the opening clumsily. But this pawn sacrifice is pretty deep. It's extremely deep. And I just have to lose the pawn back. He's not a 1500. I don't know. Although he did play the opening badly. The concept of the following play, where he sacks the pawn with A5. I'd like to look at the position after that. That's a really surprising move. So I blundered here, I guess, to play something crazy like Rook D6. This A5 move needs to be examined by an engine. Too fast, too strong. He's no 1500, man. Yeah, I mean, I should follow my own rules. Basically, I don't accept opponents who have less than 100 games. But I wasn't paying attention. He's got just 33 Blitz games and 8 rapid. I should have declined the challenge. You can't trust the players who have less than 100 games here. I always follow that rule. I mean, I don't really... It doesn't matter if people play on other sites. I'm only concerned about this one. So, whatever. Now I'm like struggling to be better. But it looks like we have something. He's misplayed his pawns. So I'm able to create 2 connected passed pawns. If they have less games, the rating might not be accurate. They also will be likely to mess with you, like trolling or cheating or whatever. It's not a big deal to create a new account if you have 30 games. But if you have like 1,000 games, you don't really want to get your account deleted. You know? People are more trustworthy when they have an established account. They don't want to like play 5,000 games and then have their account banned for using a computer. But if I play somebody with like 30 games, they can cheat and, you know, not care about it. That's the problem. Things are getting kind of tricky here. I'll blunder c4 pretty soon. No, I mean, if this guy was a real 1500, he would fold like a house of cards in this endgame. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. He hasn't played the endgame very well, but he hasn't totally messed it up either. But I just can't trust players with less than 100 games. So that's all there is to it. What is this, some kind of weird draw? Well, that's so easy. His speed is unbelievable. Like, how could you be 1500 in Blitz? c4 now. Extremely timely move. And then he follows up with the wrong answer. Wow. What is going on? I should have played rook takes b5. So just multiple blunders now from both sides. We both just made lots of blunders. He could have played a better move there, rook b4. This is a crazy position. Am I still with a chance to win this? I feel like I played it like an idiot for the most part. But he's like way too fast. He's not that bad. I mean, he's made like pretty good moves. Not terrible blunders, not the best. I guess e2. And now he finally came apart. Wow. It was a really bad endgame. He was probably better at some point. Oh, you think he forgot its increment? Interesting theory. Or he just doesn't know how to play with increment. Hold on, guys. I'll be back in 1 second. We got time. Okay, so we got time for a few more games. Again, I like to make sure people have 100 rated games. Now, Cozy has 235, Harsha 12,000. Yeah, Pochapaba challenging me to 1/4 of a minute. I understand now. He doesn't play increment, I guess. I'm just always surprised by people who are like 1500, but they're like hyper blitz, hyper bullet experts. It's so counterintuitive. I think beginners should definitely stay away from super fast time controls until they're at least like intermediate level. This is our 3rd Open Sicilian today. So I don't expect people who are like 1500 to be like twice as fast as me. Sean Pinto is an ultra bullet expert. Also, I don't expect people who are into ultra bullet to follow my stream, since I don't play bullet at all, and I basically hate bullet. You know, I'm not expecting people to be like challenging me on my stream who are into bullet chess. I'm basically, you know, just trying to take my time and play correctly. And explain ideas. They always play the first move they see. Yeah, that's the way Asterbait is, one of our regulars here. VIP Asterbait. He doesn't even think about the clock. Yeah. Yeah, they just have like one mode and that's it, you know. I mean, I grew up playing long games over the board, as well as Blitz, but still, I know how to take my time, you know, when it's available. And it's essential to developing your game. I mean, I've given a lot of lectures about this whole concept. I don't understand why so many people do this. Knight takes c6. The truth is, it's not that bad, but it's not good. You're bringing a pawn toward the center, and probably like d5 is the single most important square in the Sicilian. You know, so white doesn't really have much after they do that exchange. But again, you know, you see a lot of people who just do it because it's the simplest thing to do. It's like, you know, buying things in plastic bottles and throwing them away. It's disposable. Disposable chess. Just, recycling is too hard. Keeping the tension. You see, people, they don't like to keep the tension. Tension is unpleasant. You know, here, it's like, oh, you know, keeping the tension makes me have to think. I don't want to do that, you know. Let's just do the easy way. Exchange the pieces off. You do knight takes c6 in the Scotch. Well, there is that carryover. You get people who play bishop c4 as well. Some people don't understand really, you know, the fundamental difference between e4 c5 and e4 e5. You do it in a Scotch game, Uber Driver, because you have to, you know, not because you want to, right? I mean, because it's the best move there. I mean, it's a different situation. I mean, even in a Scotch game, you don't really want to do knight takes c6. I mean, some people are like pawn structure Nazis, so they think any double pawn is automatically good for you. Obviously, that's not the case, but it's an easy way of looking at the game. Any double pawn automatically advantageous to us. You met an FM who what? He said the large part of the difference between weak and strong players is keeping attention. Yeah, I mean, that's what you look at it, move 6. For me. People are inherently lazy. When you get to this position, he's got to be responsible for that knight, you know, being protected by his queen. People want an easy way out, you know. The easy way out is to not have to think about it, just trade. But chess is not easy. Keeping the tension, and if you analyze with engines, I mean, you can say all day that the computer's big strength is its ability to calculate, which is true. But it's funny how oftentimes it's those little tiny waiting moves that the computer really like builds its advantage with. Because it's subjective in a way. It's not biased. It doesn't mind keeping the tension. You know, it doesn't get stressed because of tension. So it can keep the tension all day long. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you play knight c6 and e5. Well, here as well. If this move busts my pawn structure, of course. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that knight takes c6 is always a bad move. You know, there are specific positions where it's good, but most people don't really, you know, understand the difference. Specifically, if you could break my pawn structure, it might be good. But that's the one thing I've noticed a lot with Engine. Its ability, you know, to really find those little waiting moves. In the 80s, it was like, oh wow, you know. It reminds me of the story where Igor Ivanov had to play a computer in an over-the-board tournament. He'd never played a computer before. He was like a GM strength IM. Anyway, so Igor didn't know what to expect. And he went to another grandmaster, Roman Tjiashvili, and asked him, like, how should I play? I've never played a computer. And Roman was like, oh, of course. Computers are very, 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 very strong positionally, but very weak in tactics. So Igor just like unleashed like all this like crazy tactics and chaos and lost like horribly against the computer. Roman was just messing with him. I could sack the exchange here. I don't know if I have enough comp. Like an endgame also, I'm slightly better. I can sack the exchange. Did I have rook takes b2 last move? Well, not like here. Serious? Rook takes b2 now? It's still an exchange sack. Yeah, that's interesting. I like rook b2, queen b2, bishop h6. That's a nice catch there, Uber driver. I'm just saying computers make me appreciate how important it is to be patient, because they are patient and they keep the tension, and you learn from that, you know, how key it is. Yeah, I could have sacked the exchange, but I didn't think it was quite enough comp. He has an open B file. A lot of times Sicilian players get excited with these sort of exchange sacrifices, and will do it like even when it's unsound. Lionel Karpov is back. Is he? I may look like Karpov compared to some people. You're not referring to me. He played in a rapid. Well, you know, my argument is that Karpov ceased to be a chess player in a real sense. You know, since like 2005, I mean, at the latest. I was a fairly big fan of Karpov, stylistically, and I've analyzed a lot of his games. Appreciate him a lot. But it just seemed like he didn't care anymore, you know, at some point. This is an interesting move, f6, speaking of subtleties. That's a nice little move. f6 check in between move. Doesn't really change position that much. But you know, you might want to call that an accurate type of move. It occurred to me a few days ago, every winning position is a forced mate. I guess that's true. It wouldn't be a winning position if it wasn't. So what can we do with that information? Chess philosophy. Alright, so now we're winning a pawn. Can we use that to our advantage somehow in chess? If every winning position is a forced move, what do we? How can that be used to our advantage as chess players? Blunder. Alright, people. So I've got time. Let's see. We've got time for 2 more games. I've got half an hour anyway. So we should be able to play a few more games. That's who? Attar V. Hello. Thanks again from Frugina for the raid earlier. Sefru from Twitch. And thanks to those of you from her stream for hanging out with me. C4 Black resigns, Fischer versus Pano. What was that? Protest resignation? The Argentine? What was it about? Fischer do something bad? He was misbehaving or what? That sounds like it was before he got real nutty. Exceptions in the schedule due to Fischer's religion. This was some tournament? Where? I never heard that story. An interzonal. So we're winning. He has knight c4 here. Damn. We're not winning yet. My king is caught in kind of an awkward place here. That's pretty annoying. But nothing will save him now. Hopefully. Rook d2 check. Doesn't even care. Look at that move. Can someone tell me how to play chess? I'm new here. I'm overqualified. Alright. Just watch. You'll figure it out. I already played with Pochapov, and he needs 100 games. Harsha, this is a strong player. 2100. The main thing is to be a clock-punching monkey. That's how I lost my first game, to a clock-punching player. Time is the most important now. Nobody listens to me. I don't know, it's like talking to the wall. Just learn to play well, and then fast can come later. I recommend, starting with longer games, like 5-10 minutes. Well, 10 minutes, let's say. 5's a little fast for beginners. Say 10-15 minute games. My opponent proposes a take-back already? What? That's weird. It was a reasonable move. So bishop e3 is more accurate. I'm not going to do any more take-backs. I don't know why he wants to take back in a standard opening position, but I think this is technically Castles is less accurate in that line. Yeah, Fischer, Sozin. The last time I lost to Alonso Zapata in the 2003 World Open. I think that was one of my later games in this. No, it was 2006. 2006 World Open. I had a good position and then I lost in the Velimirovich. And but there are other variations. Yeah, G4. G4 is a move. Very early. White usually plays Queen E2. I wonder if there's any way to take advantage of that. But Uber Driver, you're as bad as anybody. You love your bullet chess, playing super fast. You're kind of a chess history buff who's got a weakness for bullet chess. He's a man of many different tastes. This G4 move, that's why he wanted to take back. B4 is possible. Bishop A4 check, bishop D7. I had a game like that with Alexander Ivanov. I'm not sure if it's good to play B4 or not. I can play knight D7. And they can do these sacrifices on E6, which are crazy. I had a correspondence game with Alms. Hasn't been on the stream in a long time. I don't know if B4 is good here or not. I don't know. But the only time I ever played this was the queen was on E2, and I think my queen was on C7 already. That position was what I had with Ivanov. Something like with these two extra moves in. I'm not even sure if that makes sense though, because then White would have knight B5. Wouldn't they? If you take on B3 too early, White has the A file and stuff like knight takes B5. If I do knight b3, ab, and now he's starting knight takes b5, right? I could play b4 there as well. I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many different permutations in these type of lines. It's hard to say, like, what's what. I can't remember, you know, every specific position. There's like 100,000 variations. With Ivanov, it was like bishop a4 check, bishop d7, pawn takes g7, bishop g7, bishop d7, queen d7, b3, and he like fixed the structure, but lost later. But it's not the same position. I mean, I have this. He doesn't want to see that. So b3 should be played at some point. But in this position, see, his queen would normally be on e2, and it's not. So he can like come out here in like one move or something, or like queen g4, or queen h5. You know, he has all these different moves. I've got one more challenge, so that'll be probably our last game for today. Everybody disappeared. I have two. We'll see. So wow, knight takes e6. Wait. What? Psycho. So my queen is attacked. I don't feel like there's a possibility to sacrifice the queen here. Well, this is really brutal. Some kind of computer move. Wow. But is it? Does it work? I have to take. First I thought I had to play king e7, but I can go to f8. I thought I was just completely lost. Well, maybe I am, but I'm not sure what's going on, actually. Yeah, fake plastic trees. He opened for Radiohead, didn't he? Yeah. Rook g1, man. Psychopath. The guy's trying to kill me. Oh. This doesn't look healthy. Rook g1. Pawn takes g2, b2. Queen f6. Pawn takes b2, rook b1. You know, I'll take this because I'm crazy. No, I have queen f6, I have queen f3, so I'm gonna take this. Is that a free bishop on a4? Are you kidding me? You think the bishop on a4 is free? Bishop a4 threatens nothing. This guy's about to annihilate me with like rook takes g7. There's no way. There's no way I'm gonna like take on a4. So I'm thinking queen f6. Seriously, this is a very big problem, no? Rook takes g7. Rook takes g7, king g7, bishop h6 check. And, you know, that doesn't look too healthy. Any sort of move like bishop a4, rook g7, what am I going to do? Do I have a move there? I mean, I don't even consider that an option. I mean, maybe bishop e8 or something. Bishop e8. Whatever I do, I have to keep him busy. Bishop e8, he just takes. Queen takes, and I'm dropping my knight on a5. But I mean, it may not be that bad. Whatever it is, I gotta keep him busy. There's no time for rook takes g7. This is probably an extremely dangerous way for me to have played it. But whatever. How do I change queens? No, he plays queen c7. That was like a murder scene. Crime scene. Did I seriously have that? No, I mean, aren't I just like busted after queen c7? Queen b5. Queen c7 stops bishop c3. I have no checks except for b4. Does b4 do anything? I didn't see queen b4 check. But then on king d1 I have no more checks. No, maybe I'm dead. I assume I'm dead there. It looks like a draw. Am I lost here somehow? Guys, we have one more game. I wasn't lost. Wow. I thought I might be. It really is a draw. But I was winning. So bishop e8 is a blunder. My first thought was, I don't believe this works. I mean, I figure I'm like dead after rook takes g7. Right? Damn, I can do that? So that's a draw? Wow, I thought I was getting mated. That's crazy. I'm not getting mated. Are you serious? No, I am, man. Yeah, this is lost. Even the engine takes forever to realize. Wow. So I have to play rook g8 or queen e8. Queen e8 never occurred to me. This is a tough position to defend with no time. But at least I had the sense that like bishop takes a4 loses. So now it's a draw. But what was up with knight takes e6? So they gave him double question mark for knight takes e6. But I don't think my b4 is a good move. g4 dubious. g4 dubious. I have e5. I think it's kind of a little bit over the top to call g4 dubious. That doesn't seem right. It's not really dubious, is it? This is like a perenni variation. e5, knight f5. It looks like a Najdorf. I don't think it's dubious. It's actually kind of interesting. Alright, Berdinsky. Yeah, maybe it's better to play knight d7 than the b4. Usually that's more of a safe move. I'm lucky that I'm like drawing at the end. My king is exposed and my rook's out of the game. You know, I'm down a rook basically. Kind of he is too though, with his rook on b1. Alright, Grand Prix attack with bishop c4. No one ever plays bishop c4 there. You're not supposed to do that. Queen h5. The Mongolian guy. You mean the same guy that was in 60 Memorable Games? The modern Mongolian players would put him to shame. What was his name? Meg Mercerin, right? There was the famous Fischer. The famous Fischer King's Indian attack win. But I mean, he was, you know, not the strongest player. Now they have at least one GM in Mongolia. Hatan Batar. I played him. They probably have more than that now. Yeah, there's several. There was one that was living in the United States. I can't remember his name. Oh, Sharavdorj or whatever. Well, he lost a piece. This is the second most popular way to lose a piece. Number one is like queen a5 check takes bishop. But you're not supposed to play bishop c4 in this line. I mean, this is important. There's lots of good moves. I don't know about bishop d3. I prefer castles. But if you want to, you can play a4, I guess. Speaking of a4, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to the raid from Seyfru and all of you for watching and for playing some games with me here. We're going to host a rapid tournament tomorrow night on lichess. Don't forget to subscribe and donate some bits if you get a chance. Support your local chess streamer. Also check out our YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Feel free to make a PayPal donation if you like my stream and my content. Appreciate any support. Thank you. Guys, again, tomorrow night, 6:30 CEST, final advertisements, and I've got to go. Good stream today. We had some fun games. A lot of open Sicilian. Finally a Grand Prix attack, but put your bishops on the long diagonals and take things. That's what they told me. So, double fianchetto. Yeah, whatever. We're up a piece. And now I have knight d4. Queen f3. Correct. Even if he gets his knight to e4, my bishop will guard the king's side. No problem. Probably I have a better move, but I don't see it at the moment. Now knight d4. Now it's murder. Previously on the show, he had queen d1. And I didn't have a kind of important e2 move. Because his knight was on c3. Murder. Meat is murder. So, yeah, I mean, he would have just played queen d1. You gotta play it. And it's not good. We've played Brzezinski before, I forgot. He's probably less awake than me, I guess. Just woke up. I was very foggy-headed today. A little better here toward the end. Queen trades are welcome. Schieberspieler. Thanks everybody for playing. I think we had at least one sub today. A lot of new followers. And now this is kind of a funny position. Gathering storm clouds. Magic the Gathering. Harsha, yeah, I was scared I was lost. I was worse. Yeah, I gotta go. Sumer, we'll catch you next time. Thanks everybody. We're gonna be back tomorrow night with Rapid. Please join our team, Pawn and Horses Club. And 6:30 CST, good morning. 6:30 tomorrow night. Thanks for subscribing, man. Stop by for the tournament tomorrow night. Later, guys. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. And I will catch you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.